guys. So welcome to Suitcase Divas podcast. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so this is episode 29. This is our road trip to Raleigh. It was so much fun. I've never been to Raleigh. You have, correct, Cheryl?
Yeah, I've been a couple times. I actually was just there a month before the weekend we were there. So it
Okay.
was nice.
Well, I thought it was fabulous. I really enjoyed it and was super stoked because not only were we getting in a vendor event, we were also getting fantastic rates on our hotel. We were checking out, well, you've been to that hotel too, but it was new for me. So I always like doing that as well. And then it was also giving me crossing off bucket list for my Good of the Hive murals. And we'll talk about that later as well. So one of the first places we hit up in downtown Raleigh was the London Bridge pub. And it was really, really eclectic and cool. It like the outside had the flags and it really looked kind of like a London pub. You walked in and
Right.
the atmosphere was amazing. They were watching a football game, and they were very animated, very animated if they missed a shot or if they got a goal. All of it was fun to watch, right? The atmosphere was very lively.
Right. Yeah. And I loved the decor. It was like
Hmm.
stepping into a whole different country because it was
Yeah.
very much what I assume a London pub would look like. And the vibe, like you said, was really cool. We had no idea what was going on, but it was so quiet until something good or bad happened. And then the
Yeah.
whole room as a whole was collectively cheering or like booing in a way.
Well,
They
what
really
I
did a great
thought
job.
was also interesting is like when one of them got caught, a flag got called on them, they were kind of just friendly discussion. Now, I wouldn't call it arguing, but they were saying what the rules are and no, if he did this, this isn't it. So they were really animated. Like they were
They
very
had a
into this
great
game.
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very great vibe. So it is pet friendly, spacious. They had the game on. There was some music. They do allow outside food, which is interesting.
Some
Uh,
pubs do and breweries do because they don't have the cooking, so they'll either let you order
or
in. We've gone to a
allergies, yeah.
couple, or
Right.
they'll have a food truck that you can bring in.
Yeah, and it was cool the way it was all the seating was kind of all around the bar and they had the big screen TVs. So it was really nice. One thing I will say, and I feel bad for you because they did not have any white wine at all. And they had like liquor, but you were getting ready to drive later on, so you weren't doing that. But you weren't able to have a drink because you don't drink beer and you don't drink red wine. So that was just one little thing to so note to self, if you are a white wine drinker, then that might not be your jam
Yeah,
at
and he
all.
didn't clarify whether they were out or they just didn't serve it, which
It
was
kind of
fine.
sounded
Like,
like he said we don't have white wine right now, unfortunately. So we're just gonna give them some grace and maybe they were out for the day.
so just a heads up, if you are a wine drinker, a white wine drinker,
Right.
go ahead in there, just look at their menu and double check and find something different. We just
Sure.
popped in, so we didn't do
Yeah,
it.
we were really just there to check it out. And it was great. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And then we decided to move on to a place you could maybe have a drink. So we headed up the street to Raleigh Times. Tell us a little bit more about that, Cheryl.
This was very interesting. The building, it was on the corner, and it was funny because we couldn't quite find the right door because there was three different
It's
entrances,
pretty big, yeah.
and each door had like different names on it. However, come to find out, all three of those were part of the Raleigh Times.
And it
So
was very historic looking. It looked
yeah,
old. I loved it.
I did too. It's 100-year-old building, and it is the decor, and the majority of it is old press clippings and images from the
Yes.
newspaper.
So cool.
We actually we went to, I think it was one, two, three rooms, and
And
they
the
could,
guy was so nice, right?
yeah, and they could be three individual building or locations in and of themselves, but they just had entryways in between. And they were all slightly different. They still had the theme of the Raleigh Times, but the one in the middle, I think it was called, on the door, it said something about spell, I can't remember, but they had the skeleton hanging. It had different vibes throughout the whole
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
It was very the guy who talked to us, he gave us a tour of the upstairs.
And I'm
They
usually so
had,
good about names. I want to say maybe it was like Keith,
I can't
Trent.
remember. I'm
I
not even
can't
going
remember.
to
He was super
swear.
nice though.
He was. So they have a private rental place you can go upstairs, and they do open it occasionally if they're busy. The theme went straight through there too. It was gorgeous up there. We have some pictures we'll drop
The
at the
rooftop
end.
bar was
They
amazing.
had a great view, and then you could go out into the rooftop bar, which had good light, like the little bistro lights.
So cute. The bistro
Um,
lights. You're looking over the city, literally can watch people and people watch and all that good stuff.
it was such a nice building. I was very impressed because I wasn't expecting that.
Nor was I. I was
So
delighted
some
to
of the
see that.
things they talk about, or when I did a little bit more research after we left, because we had no idea what we were going into, was they have an extensive Belgian beer selection. I just have not, which you had a beer you had never had there
I
before.
had an IPA. It was delicious. Yeah, I'd never had it. It was local.
And he was very knowledgeable, which actually goes into the next point because you had asked him, I'm looking at, because they had a pretty big like selection on the menu.
They did.
And you said, I'm looking at this or this. And he said, I would go with this, but he said, I'm going to give you the samples. And which one did you end up choosing out of
I
the,
did end up going with the one that he said was the best.
right?
And it was a blend. It was a blend of a couple different hazy IPAs. So I don't see a lot of blends in hazy IPAs. It was delightful. I should have written down the name of it. I can always scout it out and
On
drop
their,
it in the
yeah,
notes.
online.
Yeah.
So I was interesting. This is the first time I have ever heard of this certification, but all of their staff is comprised entirely of, and I hope I'm not butchering this name, Cicerone certified beer servers. So I looked into it briefly, and apparently they have to go through the certification to learn about all things associated with this beer, I'm assuming. I
Right.
didn't dig too deep because I don't know enough about it to actually have,
Everybody there was
understood.
super friendly though, and they that had its own complete different vibe, but it was also fun and people were just out having a good time. And this was still early, around like 3, 4 p.m., right?
Right, and they did have a pretty good selection or a good variety of people in there. And I will
Yeah, there was a good
say,
bunch of people.
they also, I think this would be, he talked about that it's for private rentals. There's lots of areas you could rent or reserve.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about this would be an amazing location for a bachelor and bachelorette party
Yeah.
combo because they could be in their own rooms, still have time to do some activities or some pictures together, but still keeping the vibe separate between the two. And I think he had said they hadn't had bachelor
Yeah, he
party.
was surprised. He's like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and that's the
We're
first thing
like,
I
we're here all
thought
week.
of.
No.
That was a great location for that type of
It
event.
really was.
If you're looking
Absolutely.
for a place to host your bachelor or bachelorette party or both, I would absolutely check out
Well,
Raleigh
and he said
Times.
they even do like sipping wine there and all that
Mhm.
type of stuff. Like
They did have
the
activities,
like a
yeah.
painting. They have do they do trivia and stuff there too?
I don't remember if it was
I
there.
don't think that we I don't
I
think
didn't
that
see the
we
activities, yeah.
but it was fun and it looked like you could absolutely have an amazing time there. We
It
enjoyed
was
our time
very
there,
friendly. We did.
albeit short and sweet, but
Because then we had to head over to, which this was another very interesting
it's so
location,
cool.
the Alamo Drafthouse Theatre. Um,
I've never seen anything like this.
Me either. I've been to like dining type theaters where they bring you food, you sit down, but this whole thing from the outside to
It was
when
so
you go
eclectic,
in, it's definitely a
funky.
retro vibe.
Yes.
So it is I was very excited to see when you walk in, they actually have what's called the Video Vortex, which is a lounge and video store. They had tables, they had a huge
They had a
bar.
huge draft selection. Like you
Did.
walk into the place and it's so everything's like neon pink and purple or and it kind of is like the diva colors. It's like they were welcoming us in there.
Right. It was
Um
definitely an 80s, 90s vibe.
yeah,
They
and
had,
tons of draft beers, tons of drinks. I just love the vibe there. And everybody again, so friendly, so welcoming.
oh, they absolutely were. So they have the Video Vortex Lounge has free video rentals, oh, merch, craft cocktail menu, local and regional craft beers, and the decor
I
was,
love their
we could
shirts. I
not
should have
stop
walked
taking
out with one.
pictures. We were just like, every time we turned, we are like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. All the way
We
down
still want to put
to,
together a reel. We should.
right. All the way, and I'll put it at the end of our YouTube version of this. I'll make sure we throw the pictures, and
Yeah,
we did a
for sure.
walkthrough video. The all the way down to the tiny little signs that they would have posted. They were so funny. or just so much
Very
into the
inclusive
vibe.
group there. Very
Oh,
inclusive.
yes. So, they do also have an open air patio with seating for your bar and just kind of lounging around. So this is so much more than a theater. They had gender neutral bathrooms, which they had so many. Like we
There
just
were.
going, and they were nice and clean.
Everything was clean there.
Oh
The
yes.
employees were like so nice. And they were like, even through COVID, the owner was so good to us. Like there was nothing but positive vibes there.
And
It
when
was amazing.
we were walking around and we did get stopped by, and one of the workers was just asking us questions, and we told her, we were just checking it out because our training was actually there. We were there for a vendor training because
Yep,
we're always trying to keep up with the new stuff and learn more for you guys.
absolutely.
Um, and she was just going on and on about how great working for
Yeah,
the company
I
was.
love it. I love it.
So they will have food and drink delivered to your seat in the movies. The movies they show are current movies as well as retro movies.
Yeah,
Have,
throwbacks.
I was so excited to see some of the things that they offered, some of the movies, and they'll also show indie films. And what I did, they have family friendly showings. I saw this when we were stationed in Jersey, and I've not seen it since, really, where they advertise it, make a big deal. Between family friendly showings and sensory friendly showings, this
That
theater
is
has
so
that.
important. Yeah.
Your family friendly showings, our young kids and infants are allowed, because generally they don't allow them in the regular showings. Your sensory friendly showings are open to all ages. They have raised lights, lower sound, and the most relaxed talking policy. This is great for a mom's morning out. If you want to go check
Yeah.
out a chick flick, or you want to go check out something and you've got like a little 2-year-old or 6-month-old, this is a good time. We used to have them in Jersey. I loved it. So to see it, and then for the lights and the sounds, if you have sensory issues, I was so impressed
That
by
was very, very cool.
how
Yeah.
inclusive they were here. They
Yeah.
also hosted events, karaoke, trivia. This part was I will absolutely go back just for this. This particular one sold out, but they have movie parties, which is an immersive, interactive experience with props, themed drinks, and more. So I
Fun.
was digging into it when I loved researching this. The more I kept looking at their website, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So they have one coming up called the Pulp Fiction Movie Party, and it's on April 30th. However, it's
It is sold out.
sold out. All three of their showings of this Pulp Fiction movie party
Listen, we need to
sold
find
out.
out more in advance and go back. It
Well,
should
I
be
did
like a
look, they don't have May posted yet, but here's what they have for this is just an example of their Pulp Fiction party. With that ticket, because obviously a little bit higher price, although their ticket prices were really comparable to not I mean they were cheaper than I would say a bigger budget, bigger named theater. I don't want to throw anyone out there. But at this Pulp Fiction movie party, your ticket comes with obviously the viewing, um, a yellow coffee mug if you're familiar with the movie, and it had the Pulp Fiction, it had sayings on it. The adrenaline shot pen. If you remember that scene where he takes the adrenaline shot and puts it in Uma Thurman's chest. So
that's
it's
fun.
a
I mean, I
little
do remember that absolutely.
hypodermic needle pen, super cute. And then it came with a pack of candy cigarettes.
That's
Just think, this
adorable.
is something,
Right.
it's like a goodie bag. You're going to this
Yeah.
movie to see this movie, and it was just a cute goodie bag. They did have I think they had the Labyrinth that they were doing a movie party with. So that was for the month of April, and they're already all the ones for April that I saw were already sold out. So if you're definitely into that and you're in the Raleigh area, check it out. Also, this is something, if you go to drafthouse.com, they're in many locations. So check out and drafthouse.com to see if you have one near you, because I highly recommend going. I just want
Yeah.
to quickly, before we jump on, talk about their core values, because
They are amazing. I
I
love this
was
place.
so impressed with, not only do they talk about like their activities, the things that they host, and obviously their main product is the movie, but they talk so much about inclusivity and then their values as a
Yeah.
company. So and this cracked me up. Their core values: do the right thing, foster community, boldly go, and give a shit. I was like,
Yeah.
as soon as and they had a cute little graphic.
Fabulous. Yes.
And I was really impressed. And if you go into, they have like a description of what each one of those means of their values to them. Please check out their website. This is the
Absolutely.
drafthouse.com, and then you can select area. We checked out the Raleigh one, but I
It
did
was fabulous.
there was a couple more, not too close, but maybe we can find a way to get one here near Charlotte because I absolutely loved it.
Yes, please sign me up. Yes. So then after training, we headed back to our Marriott hotel, which I can't say enough about the travel agent perks and this fantastic rate. So we are trained on all the different Marriott hotels. If you stay current on your certification, and you do have to do that, it's not just like, okay, I tested out and now I get to book for on agent rates. You do have to, which is what we
Continue
do
ed.
as
Yep.
agents, you have to stay current, you have to stay relevant, and you have to know all of their latest hotels and trends. Um, so this was the Marriott Courtyard Crabtree, which is beautiful hotel, beautiful surroundings. They keep it very manicured. Um, Another thing that I loved about this place was it is a LEED hotel. They have a gold LEED status. So that stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So they achieved that by offering recycling, green cleaning products, and they also received an award in 2011 for the Carolina Recycling Association's Outstanding Green Purchasing Award of the Year. So we love a green hotel. And anybody that's working on being green, keeping your footprint small, all for that, good for the environment. We also enjoyed, we got an upgrade. So as agents, this hotel is normally around 279, 300 a night. With our agent rate with $99. So you really can't beat the travel agent rates that we are offered in any of the hotels. So when we arrived, the gentleman was super friendly, and we were going to split a king size room, which is no problem because Cheryl and I are great hotel mates.
Mm-hmm.
But they offered us an upgrade to two queens suite, and then it had a little couch with a work area, and it was just beautiful. Now, when we got in the room, it wasn't my name; it's some random chick's name. Because I love on the screen, they're normally like, "Welcome, Denise Teobaldi," So we got some other lady's room. I hope maybe she just didn't show up, but it was awesome. We were happy to be upgraded. We enjoyed the gym. We worked out the next morning. It was a nice gym. They do have a nice area where they serve Starbucks products. So they had the coffee bar that we did enjoy the next morning. So overall, I loved the Marriott. I know that you do think about accessibility, and we always make sure we check that part. So do you have any insights, or do you want to talk about that a little, Cheryl?
I'd love to, because you're right. And it's so funny because you're even starting to look like it's such a habit of mine to check out
Yeah,
locations and how accessible they are, that even Denise was like, "Ooh, look at this." Like she'd point out the accessible part. So this hotel is sort of on a hill. So when we parked, we actually had to carry our luggage up steps, or you had to go around through the check-in driving part. And I was like, I didn't have high hopes
that was
for
a
it.
little something, something. Yeah,
However,
but I
we
will say
did
they have free
find
parking.
they
Some
do have free
locations you
parking.
pay for parking. This was free, as it should be, because we had to haul our shit up that hill
Well,
over
and
the
then
stairs.
as we explored more, we found that because this hotel is on a hill, it's got more floors
Yeah,
than you would normally see in a hotel. The gym is on the very bottom floor. Then they had like the conference rooms and the main area, and then obviously the rooms were up. And the pool was kind of separate in between those two.
yeah,
So
it was a interesting layout.
it was really nice though. So we did find where they had the handicap parking right by a handicap entrance into the hotel that would take you to the elevator to get you
That
to
was
the
good.
check-in. So I
Mm-hmm.
was so happy to see that. When we checked into our room, we did not have an accessible room, but I always check for how accessible is it, because everybody's accessible needs are different, and most
Mm-hmm.
hotels have limited accessible rooms. So
Indeed.
I check the rooms to see, okay, are the doors wide enough for a wheelchair? Because everybody in a wheelchair doesn't necessarily need a roll-in shower. So I do look
Yeah,
for that. This room was wheelchair friendly.
it was
It's
pretty good.
not, yeah, it's not super accessible if you have to transfer a certain way, or you need a roll-in shower. But if you, because not, like I said, not everybody in wheelchairs are have to have all the same accommodations. So this particular room, there was plenty of room. for a chair and for you
The
to
bathroom was big. Some of the bathrooms are little. This was a
this
nice big
bathroom
bathroom,
absolutely
and it
was
was an
big.
enclosed shower
So
stall.
it
It was
did have the
gorgeous.
little lip of the shower, which again, I want to just say that while
Yeah.
the bathroom is absolutely wheelchair accessible, that shower part was not if you need a roll-in shower. However, if you can transfer, I believe they did say they had shower chairs, I think we read. But that's something we
Yeah.
can check on. And sometimes people obviously will sometimes travel with their own. So this particular room, if I had a client, because I work with accessible travel or accessible clients, and I knew their needs, I could recommend this room for certain types of accessible needs. So I loved that. The other part I thought was awesome was the pool, because the pool was in the middle of when you walked out of where it
The
was in
pool wasn't
between.
open, by the way, because it's still a little early.
Right, but you could get access to it.
It is
You
a
could see
beautiful pool,
the
though.
lights. It was a
Hmm.
big pool. I was very impressed by the size of the pool. But it's in between the where you would check in and the parking. And it's kind of like you would walk. Normally there's stairs you would walk down. They had an elevator, outside elevator that you
Yeah.
could access that would take you down from the outdoor patio right outside check-in to the patio of the pool. They had really nice bathroom area down there. The only thing that wasn't quite
And didn't they have
accessible,
a ramp?
they did.
Like a
So
ramp?
the ramp, when you have a ramp in a pool, you limit accessibility to those that are in electric chairs. They did not have the electric chair lift that would
Lift.
normally take you out and set you down in the water.
I did
You
notice
only
that.
had a ramp.
A
So
lot of pools don't even have ramps.
they
So they're
don't. I've
somewhat
actually,
accessible.
most of the times I've seen the ramps have been at all inclusives. But I was impressed with the ramp, but still you can't substitute a ramp for and consider that accessible because you're
I agree.
limiting so many. They really need to invest in the chair lift. But overall, excuse me, the hotel was accessible, downstairs was accessible. There weren't too many chairs or tables because sometimes they'll clutter all that. It was very open. I
It
really
was
was
open, it
impressed.
was clean.
Hmm.
They had the nice water station that has the fruit and stuff in it. It was
Yep.
it's a very good vibe. I really,
This hotel does not come with breakfast. They do have a restaurant that you pay for though. So
right. It wasn't breakfast included, which a lot of them are, but it looked like a nice little
it's a great
area.
location. It's right across
Yeah,
the street from the mall. I really did like this hotel. I would
same.
absolutely recommend it.
Same. I did. I would recommend it. I would put clients here. So we really enjoyed the hotel and that part was awesome. Part of what we did before and after on the way in Raleigh and on the way out was that I was excited about is the Good of the Hive bead mural. So I love the Good of the Hive. If you guys don't know about it, so the Good of the Hive is a global art project and organization founded by artist Matt Willey. His personal commitment to hand paint 50,000 honeybees on murals all around the world because 50,000 bees is what is the number is in a thriving hive. So he said that the hive I'm creating is a metaphor for all of us, no matter your color, nationality, religion, gender, age, or economic status. This piece of art is idealized picture of health to focus on as we work towards solutions. So he's essentially like a global ambassador for just peace, environmental pollinators.
I didn't know that 50,000 is the ideal number for a healthy hive.
Yeah,
I
and
had
the
no
whole
idea.
point is that the way the bees think is they're not just looking out for themselves, they're working towards the community, the betterment of the hive. And I love that mentality. I absolutely love it. It definitely draws me in. And I love bees and I have my own wildflowers. So yeah, that's right up my alley. And the first mural we saw was in downtown Raleigh. That was at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. This museum is gorgeous,
Hmm.
gorgeous. And I wish it was a little warmer. Sure, it was windy
It was
AF.
windy.
Yeah. And well, so we got a couple pictures in front of the mural there. And so that was definitely fun and we'll we'll do a reel or we'll do some pictures so you guys can have some access to that. The next one we did was on the way home after we checked out of the hotel, and that was at a fire station in Carborough. We actually, if you saw our little check-in, then you would have seen it. We did it in front of there. Um, so he chose that place because he said after exploring all the options in Carborough, I felt the fire station was the perfect place for the mural because the fire station is a natural metaphor for a hive. And in this situation, the female chief was at the helm like the queen bee. So I just love it all. I'm there for it. Um, I really, really liked it. That was a beautiful mural as well. And that was just, I've
And
checked off two.
I loved that little town.
It was so cute. Now were there a couple little shady bits walking around? We always see something.
Right.
We're not the drama, but we always tend to see some drama or
But it was
but
I absolutely would go back to that town.
absolutely.
The
I
activities
liked it.
they had posted, I definitely want. I'd never been there. I'd never heard of Carborough. So I was like, I definitely need to check in on that. So I thought that was a cute little town.
I liked it too. And I will go to any town that has these murals. And he has them all over the world. I mean, he's got murals in Beijing, China. He's at the National in DC, at the library. He's got murals everywhere. There's a lot here in North Carolina, which I love, and I'm going to drag you to see every one of them with me.
All right, let's check those off your bucket list.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, what are your final thoughts about our trip, our road trip? It was fun, right?
I love road tripping. We actually took the scenic route, which I don't normally take to Raleigh. It's a 2.5 hours drive for us. Gorgeous. We had so much fun just driving down the back roads. I really enjoyed. Let's give a shout out to the place that or the is it oh I should have looked this name up. I know it. I'm gonna say it wrong. Travelversity. Travel
Travelversity.
they actually hosted our training. They brought in 4 vendors. They had an amazing setup. I was very impressed with their whole
They did
production.
great presentations. Yep.
Yeah,
Very, very knowledgeable.
and we don't have a lot around these expos, these travel expos. We don't have a ton of them popping up, so we try to drive where we can because we're always trying to learn. I very much enjoyed that part. I love just road tripping is so
We
much
did not
fun.
win the main prize, which was 2 night, 3 stay in a all-inclusive in
But we did learn about it, so we'll bring you
Antigua.
guys some information on those locations because they were gorgeous. They were very
Yes, they
gorgeous.
were. And we learned about St. Kitts and Nevis. So many cool places that we will pass on to you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, and I always enjoy going to new cities and always continuing on our travel knowledge journey and just
Right.
travel in general. It's great. I had a great time. We always have fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Overall, it was
that's
another successful Diva day trip.
yes.
Although
Yep,
we
yep.
did stay the night, but it was just it was still within a 24
It
hour
was an
drive there and
overnight.
back. Yeah.
But that's fun. I would totally do more of these because we're checking out fantastic hotels, we're checking out travel vendors, good stuff, all good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So there you have it. That was our road trip to Raleigh. Hope you enjoyed the ride.
Bye, guys.